Hey there, welcome to Tribon Talkies. So today we're gonna talk about 7 movies that gonna blow your mind. So let's get right into the video. Here we go. Number 10, Sandeep or Pinky Farrar. Sandeep or Pinky Farrar. This movie is directed by Divakar Banerjee and it is so obstinately familiar to the men and women on the run narrative that it is possible that you might not register how potent and brilliantly crafted it is. Playing a suspended police officer trying to get his job back, the muted acting abilities of Arjun Kapoor show for his character. Similarly, Pariniti Chopra, who plays Sandeep in a sharp gender role critique, isn't the most likable woman character that we usually see. And yes, Banerjee takes the mediocrity as actors to weave the layered look and machismo and masculinity, all the while also cleverly looking at the various class divisions in the country and how corruption and abuse into very soul each of them. So the next movie we have in the pocket is Meel Patthar, also known as Milestone. It is a story about a driver. Yeah, you heard it right, just a driver. Let that sink in and look back at any other stories that is about life and valuable life of a driver. The results will baffle you. Anyhow, the Dio in the question is here named Galib, effortlessly played by Surinder Pal Vicky, vertically named to replicate the harshness of the environment he lives in and the fate of his grief that brought upon him. This film is directed by Ivan Ayer, and this film feels like it is the only extension of his fantastic work debut Sony. So if you have already watched Sony, you might have a look at this too. Number 5. Pretty much like his debut film Newton, Amit Masuskar's Cerny is all about a government divisional officer trying to do her job with honesty. While the system rots from inside, this time moving his investigate lens to the jungles of Madhya Pradesh and doubling down his black comedy for a most realistic approach. Masuskar's film satirizes Indian bureaucracy to an extent where it is no more sounds laughable. Addressing to the environmental degradation with a backdrop of women trapped in a man's world. This movie is all about man versus animals tale with a dedicated performance from Balan as Vidya Vincent. Cerny only scratches the surface of what it wishes to, but at least it's leave a mark of his presence. Number 4. Director Umesh Bisht Paglet. This movie is a funeral-based movie, while it also works on the similar themes of grief and emptiness. It takes us to a more personal hook towards it. Here, Sanaya Malhotra stars as Sandhya, a recently widowed woman who is unable to grieve the loss of her husband. Looking at the filmmaker's restricted filmography, the only other film he has made, being incredibly juvenile, is Bhoot Teri. Paglet feels like a subtle, frankly, and more content-driven movie, thanks to Malhotra's work and his dedicated performance. The quirky bits eventually turn into a movie about how a woman, even in her most unhinged state, is never free to make her own decisions in the society we live in. There are of course blunted flaws and the character motivation needed to be tighter than they are, but that would be asking too much from it because this movie is already well framed. Number 3. Ram Prasad Ki Tergi. In the light of small town comedy that have populated in the Hindi film industry as of late, Seema Pahwa's directorial debut is one of the 2 movies that have place around a funeral. After the death of the family patriarch, Ram Prasad, his family and the extended family gather in his wife's old rustic home and that is now full of memories and emptiness. With a dysfunctional family narrative that sometimes doesn't know how to get used to dysfunctionality, the films look at a familiar spaces to bring home themes like growing up, finding wins, and learning to live with the things that once mattered us the most. While it doesn't always hit the mark, watching this type of magnificent work and their own respective characters in a unique touch will still treat your eyes like butter on the cake. While I'm mentioning the content-driven movies of every aspect, this movie is truly genius. Yes, Kagaz. Kagaz in number 2. As always, Pankaj did a phenomenal work with his skills. The movie won't let you down even for a second if you are a genuine movie lover. Bharat Lal Bihari, a band player from Uttar Pradesh, living a simple life with his wife and son without any greed. But how things went drastic from a simple life to a life full of struggles. From Bharat Lal Bihari to Bharat Lal Bihari Mritak. From a simple and decent life to proving he is still alive. It's all about the story. The 19 years of struggle and proving the existence of him being alive didn't let the original Bharat Bihari down, as well as the real life. Bharat Lal Bihari is a man who struggled for proving his existence for 19 years. Yes, this movie is based on a true story and Pankaj nailed it. Number 1. Sardar Udham. Let's not discuss a lot about this movie because this movie is truly a masterpiece. A masterpiece which is well crafted, well executed and well directed. Sardar Udham, the character played by Vicky Kaushal, is about a revolutionary man who went all the way to London to kill the Punjab governor Michael. For the respect of the plot, let's not discuss many things about this movie, but you must watch it. This is all I can say.